Today I want to explore a song that holds a profound history and message of faith. Swing Low Sweet Chariot. This isn't just a song, it's a powerful spiritual that speaks of hope, peace, and assurance in an all-powerful, loving, and just God. It gives us a glimpse into the lived experiences of enslaved African Americans who remained steadfast in their faith and resilience despite enduring unimaginable hardship.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Swing Low Sweet Chariot is one of many African American spirituals, a large body of folk songs whose purposes served much more than simply personal and even collective enjoyment. For enslaved individuals, these spirituals were a form of prayer and resilience, and they were often layered with messages of faith and at times even coded messages for those seeking physical freedom. Swing Low Sweet Chariot became what we now call a signal song. A signal song is a type of spiritual used by enslaved African Americans, and they contained hidden messages to convey specific information about escape routes and safety during the journey to freedom. They were often associated with what we now call the Underground Railroad, a network that helped enslaved people escape northward to freedom in a free state or even Canada. Now, these songs were carefully crafted to provide direction and encouragement, without arousing any suspicion from slaveholders or other authorities. The words "Swing Low Sweet Chariot, coming for to carry me home" had a dual meaning. The promise of freedom both in a spiritual sense and in a more earthly, literal sense. It was a reminder that even while facing the hardest of trials, they could look to God for peace and rest. The chariot was the symbol of deliverance, a way out of hardship, and a reassurance that God's almighty hand was upon them. Ultimately, the somber reality is that while many of the enslaved sought earthly freedom, only a small minority actually attained it. And that's what gives spirituals like Swing Low Sweet Chariot its uncanny power. Alongside spiritual freedom and salvation, the physical freedom they sing of refers to both escaping from their captors or in the release of death.
Get there before I do, coming for to carry me home. Tell all my friends that I'm coming to, I'm coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
The imagery of the chariot is drawn from the Bible in the account of the prophet Elijah, who was taken up into heaven in a chariot of fire. And as they still went on and talked, behold, chariots of fire and horses of fire separated the two of them. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. And Elisha saw it and he cried, my father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen. And he saw him no more." And that's from 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11 to 12, the English Standard Version. For enslaved African Americans, singing this song was an act of hope, a powerful assurance that God will ultimately deliver them from their suffering, whether on earth or in heaven.
Washed my sins away, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Coming for to carry me home.
This song also reminds us that the messages embedded in spirituals transcend cultural boundaries. Now, I don't share any blood affiliation with the African Americans who first sang this spiritual, yet the universal themes of the Christian faith, hope, and assurance speak to me very deeply. When I perform this song, I often weave in elements of Indian classical rhythms, now not as a perfect fusion, but rather as an ongoing endeavor to show how much we can all learn from these songs, regardless of our cultural backgrounds. Now, I don't believe that we as humans are connected just by the color of our skin. We may be separated by culture, but I believe we are connected still by our shared humanity, solidarity, and empathy for those who have suffered. For me, it has truly been a privilege to be able to connect with the lived experiences of the enslaved through songs such as Swing Low Sweet Chariot. This song reminds us that even in the most painful, impossible situations, there's a peace that faith in God alone can bring, a peace that isn't bound by circumstances. Now, here in Singapore, we live in a prosperous, safe place, and while that is something to be grateful for, it's also humbling to think about what this song teaches us.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
We have the privilege of learning from those who first sang Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. They had so little, and yet their faith gave them peace and strength. Now, for myself, I often find that I have so much, and yet so little faith, as I worry about mundane things on a daily basis, YouTube views, paying rent, what people think of me, or buying the latest tech gadget. These things are so small in comparison to what we are singing about and learning from the song Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. I find it so easy to spiral down the rabbit hole of being consumed in a lifestyle of plenty. I'm reminded of my desire to serve the people of Timor-Leste, the youngest nation in Asia, which I have a calling to serve in. The Timorese have endured unimaginable pain and suffering in their struggle for independence. While they did achieve independence in 2002, the bloody conflict leading up to it resulted in about a third of the population perishing. My reflection on this song is that in my position of relative privilege, there are still many in our midst who suffer immense hardship on a daily basis. It's time for me to step out of my comfort zone and act on my faith. Now, what is your reflection?
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. For to carry me